Hello everyone. This video is in continuation with my previous video of the same chapter, the flower. Now in this video I'm going to explain you about sexuality in flowers. The flowers may be of two types. They may be unisexual or they may be bisexual. Now in my previous video I told you about the reproductive parts, the stamens and pistil. If a flower contains both reproductive parts, that means both stamens, male part, as well as the pistil, the female part, such a flower is called bisexual or hermaphrodite flower. Hibiscus, mustard, these are bisexual flower. In a flower, if any of the part, reproductive part, that means male or female, is lacking, is missing, this is called unisexual, only one reproductive part. This is called unisexual flower. Pumpkin, cucumber, these are unisexual flower. These are examples of unisexual flower. Now, in unisexual flower, if only the male part is present, that means only the stamen is present. Remember, flower will have sepal, petals and male part, no female part. Then such a flower is called staminate flower, or it is called male flower, staminate flower. In the same flower, in unisexual, if only female part is present, that means the sepals are present, petals are present and male part is not there, but female part is present. So the flower is said to be female flower, or it is called pistillate flower. Pistillate word has come from pistil. So pistillate means only female part is present, no male part is there. And if male part is there, staminate. So staminate has come from stamen. So it is called male flower. So these both staminate and pistillate will work for unisexual flower. Now there are neuter flower also. Neuter means in these two cases you saw that either the male part was present or the female part was present. But in neuter flower, these both reproductive parts, that means male and female parts, will be missing. They will be lacking. The example is a ray floret of sunflower. In sunflower, there are disc and a ray floret. So ray floret, they do not have male or female parts. So this flower is said to be neuter flower. Now, all these parts, all four floral parts, we will be learning in detail because there are many important terms. Now, as you all know, the first and outermost whorl of a flower is calyx. And calyx is collective term for sepals. Sepal is outermost part of flower, and collectively all sepals together they are known as calyx. The first whorl. So this calyx is composed of various sepals. If these sepals are free, the condition is known as polysepalous. So poly word means free. Sepals are free. How they are free? Suppose this is the stalk of the flower and these sepals, you can even count them. They are free from each other. Then this condition is known as polysepalous. Second condition is gamosepalous. Gamo means fused. Means in place of these all free sepals, all these sepals will be fused together. That means you cannot count. It will be forming only one whorl. They all will be fused together. The condition is known as gamosepalous. Third term is epicalyx. Epicalyx means in some flowers only, not in all. In some flowers, besides calyx, that means besides the sepal, there is one more whorl. That means they have two whorls for calyx. And this is called epicalyx. Epicalyx means second whorl of sepal. One whorl and then second whorl, second ring of sepals. This is called epicalyx. I have already told you about the function of calyx or sepal. Sepals, they are green in color, so their function is to protect the flower, especially in the bud stage, and if they are green in color, they will also help in the process of photosynthesis. So these are two functions of calyx. Second whorl is corolla, and corolla is composed of petals. That means all the petals collectively will be making second whorl, that is called corolla. Same like calyx, the corolla or the petals may be free. If the petals are free, like in mustard, you can count all the petals. This condition is known as polypetalous. Remember, poly word will go for free. So polysepalous, free sepals, polypetalous, free petals. You can even count them. Gamopetalous. I have not written petalous here. Gamopetalous. Gamo means fused. That means all these petals will be fused together. The colored part will be fused together and will be forming only one single whorl. This condition is known as gamopetalous. Third whorl, third part, androecium. Now you all know that androecium is composed of stamens. And stamens, they have two main parts. The upper part is called the anther and lower part is the filament. So these two are parts of that. This is anther and this is filament. Now anther is bilobed. Bi means two and lobed means parts. And each lobe has two pollen sac. Sac means bag-like structure. So total there are 4 pollen sacs. This anther, this whole part anther is composed of 2 lobes. It is bilobed. Each lobe contains 2 pollen sac. And these pollen sac, they contain pollen grain inside. These pollen grains, they are male gametes. When fully matured, this pollen sac will rupture. And when it ruptures, it will be releasing these pollen grains. And these pollen grains, then they will be transferred to stigma during the process of pollination. Third whorl is androecium. Androecium consists of many stamens. Each stamen has 2 parts. The upper part is called the anther and lower part is called the filament. Now androecium or the stamens may be in one group. The condition is known as monadelphous. They may be present in 2 groups, diadelphous, and may be present in many groups, polydelphous. Delphous represents the stamens. Now see here, in monadelphous, all the stamens, they will be in one group, one single group. All the stamens, they will be in one single group and the condition is known as monadelphous. In China rose or the hibiscus, all these stamens are together in one group. Second condition is diadelphous. That means there will be 2 groups. This is seen in pea flower. In pea flower, one stamen, total there are 10 stamens. One stamen will be forming one, that means singly present, and other 9 stamens they will be forming another group. So there are 2 groups, 1 and 9. So this condition is known as diadelphous. Means stamens they will be found in, they are present in 2 groups and the example is sweet pea or pea. Third is polydelphous. Polydelphous means there will be various groups. You can see here 1, 2, 3 and 4 groups are there and in each group there are many stamens. This condition is known as polydelphous. In polydelphous, this condition is seen in citrus fruits. So, depending on how many groups of stamens are there, androecium may be of 3 types. Monadelphous, 1 group, diadelphous, 2 groups and polyadelphous, many groups. Now, fourth whorl is gynoecium. That is female part. Gynoecium is composed of or consists of many pistils or many carpels. Each pistil may have 1 carpel or many carpels. Each carpel has 3 main parts. The upper part is called stigma. It is sticky or feathery. This stigma is the landing place for pollen grains. That means during pollination, these pollen grains, they land on the top of stigma and then they germinate. Second part is called the style. It is neck-like part of carpel or pistil. This is called a style. The function of style is to connect a stigma and ovary. Third part is ovary, and this ovary is suturing base of pistil. This ovary contains one ovule or may contain many ovules. Each ovule is a female gamete, and ovule only, they develop into seeds after fertilization. When fertilization process takes place, then this part of the ovary, that means ovary will develop into fruit, and the ovule inside, it will develop into a seed. In case there is only one ovule present, one seeded fruit will be formed. In case there are many ovules present, then many seeds are formed in a fruit after fertilization. Now, the last portion of chapter is inflorescence and placentation. Now, what is this placentation? Actually, there is placenta. This placenta will have many ovules. So, the manner in which these ovules are attached to this placenta, this is called a placenta, thick wall by which these ovules are attached. The manner by which these ovules are attached to the placenta is called placentation. And you might have noticed that flowers are present on the branches of the stem in various ways. Sometimes the flower may be arranged alternately. This is flower, alternately they are present. Sometimes all the flowers, they are arranged at the tip. They come to the tip and all of them, they grow at the same height. This manner or process of arrangement of these flowers on a plant is known as inflorescence. So, arrangement of flower is known as inflorescence, and arrangement of ovule or attachment of these ovule to the placenta is known as placentation. Now, this is all about the chapter. Thank you.